All right, guys, we're here this morning with Roy from Ray and Roy.
What's up?
And this guy is going to be a top YouTuber, Ray and Roy, guys. I saw him in action yesterday. Today, our topic is the challenges of being a mail order husband. So we get these trolls like every single day. Every single day, I would say. It's a rare day that we don't get one that says, how much was she? And a mail order bride. They throw mail order bride out. How much was she all the time? And I answer them back. If I don't outright delete them, I answer them back and say, how is she a mail order bride when we met on the same dating site? So basically, we put dating profiles on the same site, and I came here to her country, so that makes me a mail order husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are kind of, if you want to put it that way, we are mail order husbands, guys. So I want to ask some of the standard questions here that always get asked. How did you meet?
Yeah, we met online, and as you said, we both had profiles on the same websites.
Yeah.
So there was no mail ordering going on, but online, and honestly, I had chatted to maybe up to 50 Filipinas, whether it was just a few sentences or a few days, until I came across Raya, and it only took me about a day or two to realize that we clicked really well and we were both attracted to each other. And then after about 1 or 2 days, we said to each other, look, let's stop chatting to other people now, and let's try and just keep chatting to ourselves. So that's kind of how we did it. How about you, mate?
Well, like you, I went through, chatted maybe like you say, about 50, somewhere, I don't want an exact number, but a few, and most of them pretty quickly, I counted them out, and there were several that, they'd ask for money. They'd ask for money like right away, or they'd have something just didn't add up. I mean, one didn't want to do a video call. Was a pretty picture, didn't want to do a video call, and so I just kind of put it on the back burner. Person messaged me back, wanted to do a video call. Well, by the voice, I could tell it was a dude. So I went through a lot of scams like that, and got to Karen, and Karen was obviously a farm girl from the mountains, and that was just clicked with me because I'm a farm boy. It was a perfect match.
Right. And the issue with the scammers online is a big thing. Actually, not long after I had met Raya online, when I was over here, there was a big bust near Manila where they shut down a whole factory of people, some of which were from overseas and were being held hostage to actually clickbait and chat and scam foreigners on Philippine dating sites.
Sure. So there's two kinds of scams that I know of. There's the one where they're going on independent dating sites, so they're not working for the dating site, and they're catfishing you and trying to get you to send money. And then there's another one where there's a dating site, a fly-by-night dating site company pops up, and they've got a bank full of people they're paying to create engagement. So they'll have a pretty picture, and they'll chat you, and then when things want to go they'll get you to buy a subscription or whatever, and then when you want to things go a little further, talk to them in person, they ghost you. It's like, okay, I've been dumped. You move on to the next one, and it's the same thing. It's just meant to keep you subscribing. Right. So there's two kinds of scams.
And what about catfishing, mate? Because in Australia, there's a big problem with dating sites, with people using really old photos of when they were in their prime, or using a completely different person's photo as a profile, and then you rock up to the date, and you're looking at this person going, This is not who I expected. Have you ever heard of any stories like that?
Yeah, I've experienced that myself. In that group that I messaged before Karen, there were some that had really beautiful pictures, and then when you would call them, it was the same person, but it had obviously been through a filter. It was a girl that was maybe really overweight, or just she'd put it through a filter to make herself look good, and it didn't look the same. You could tell it was the same person, but it had been altered. Right. I had that happen more than once.
Yeah, so when I was chatting online, I would say very early on, we need a video chat, And for example, on Christian Filipino, they have a video chat on their site.
Exactly.
On the other sites, you have to get the Filipinos to chat with you on WhatsApp or something. It's a bit of a catch-22, because in WhatsApp, you have to give out your real phone number. on Facebook Messenger, which is what most Filipinos use, you have to give out your Facebook profile.
Yep.
So if you're giving out your WhatsApp, they get your real phone number,
and then
but they don't really see anything else about your life.
Yes, and that's where you start getting these. If you give them your real number, the scammers are going to message you endlessly,
right?
And they're gonna give you a sad story, and they're going to keep asking you for money about the sick Carabao, about the kid sick, whatever.
Right.
And that's why you want a Christian Filipino system is ideal, because you can screen all those out before it gets to that point where you're giving your number out.
Right. And there's one more thing I just remembered, man. A lot of Filipinas and Filipino men have multiple Facebook accounts, and it can be for a wide variety of reasons. You know, the most innocent reasons being they kept forgetting their passwords.
Yes.
So, you know, there's people I know with 3 or 4 accounts, but they can only log into one. Or their old account got hacked, and it's still online, but they can't log into it. So they make more new accounts.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's nefarious people who have multiple accounts and are chatting to different fellas, for example, from different accounts.
So that is a red flag right there. If you find a girl that's got more than one active account, she won't share that with you. You want to do your due diligence, and if you find out they're running a Facebook account behind your back, or they haven't disclosed all their social media, you should probably move on, because that's a definite huge red flag right there.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Rhea is like my wife Karen. She is obviously a province girl. Why did you choose a province girl?
Well, for me, you know, I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought Manila city girl or province girl, you know, and I thought, what would a Manila girl be like? And from what you can tell from overseas, what the YouTubers say, they're very westernized.
Yes.
You know, and when you hear that word westernized, that's kind of the word that is a key word that I'm not looking for when I'm thinking about my future wife, because one of the big problems in Australia is the women are too westernized. They're too much towards the feminist edge.
Westernized is unfortunate.
Cash that they can just throw around. But and some people say, you know, you go over there with your money, and they're only with you because of the money. But in Australia, you know, they're only with you because of the money as well. You know, like they're
same in the West.
They're choosing the richest guy they can get.
Exactly.
And then you know, and so it's kind of funny when people say that to you, like, she's only with you for the money, that Filipina.
Exactly.
It's like that. No, every woman around the world is trying to make sure that they're securing their future.
That's right. They're securing and it's instinctive, themselves and their children's future by selecting the best provider. So there's a difference between that and outright gold diggers that are just, you know, they're not looking for a relationship or an actual husband. They're just looking at your bank account. Those are two very different things.
I actually just saw a comment on Michael's video that he posted yesterday with my interview, and there was a big long comment saying, Rhea, what are you doing with Roy? He's paying child support. He obviously lost all his equity when he was divorced. That's why he's living on a boat. Rhea, why are you wasting your only chance?
Exactly. There you go.
But like, it's not about that for us. Like, you know, that commenter there is looking at it as if Rhea is a gold digging Filipino.
That commenter is looking at it from the perspective of a Westerner.
Yeah.
So that is the prevailing attitude in the West.
But what that commenter is missing is, we're going to build our future over here, and we're going to have some business ideas that we're going to run through Rhea's name and involving her family. For example, Baboy's sugarcane.
Yep.
And, you know, like, Rhea doesn't want to have to just pull money from me the rest of her life for her to be comfortable and for her to help her parents. Her number one goal is to give her parents a comfortable final quarter of their lives.
Yeah.
You know? And that's exactly what she's trying to do, but she doesn't want to be like a gold digger. She said to me, how can I make the money to help my parents. So the first thing we did that we could do together was, let's make a YouTube channel. Long before we could bring her to Australia or anything else. So we started the YouTube channel together to try and build money for her family, and we've already bought the block of land next door for her family with the YouTube money. So it's not about what my past is. Every man has a past and might have some bills and things like that. And but it's about what you can create together in the future.
Exactly, and they're looking for the things that women traditionally throughout history have looked for in a man. They're looking for stability, they're looking for protection, and they're looking to be provided for, and that's every woman in the world. And your province Filipina generally don't want to leave the province. To them, it's more important that you're gonna meet her there and spend your time there with her than that you have a lot of money and take her to the West. She didn't want to leave her parents and her family, right? My wife doesn't want to leave her parents and her family. And much more important to them would be to have a man that's reliable, that's trustworthy, and that will be accepted by their family and be an asset to the family in other ways, as the head of the household, as the head of the family. And so they're looking for a man to be a man in a traditional sense, and that's more important than your bank account. So,
and that's a good segue to this one. Bring her to the West or stay.
Yes, now for me, I don't. A lot of people say because we have a 22-year age gap, and if you bring a young Filipina to the West, they say she's gonna take off. She's gonna take off with a younger guy.
Gonna be westernized.
She's gonna be westernized. She's gonna take off with a younger guy. And so, I have zero fear whatsoever of my wife taking off with another guy in the West. The reason that we will stay here, if we do stay here permanently, is number one, the West makes it very hard to go over there to get the visa. Number two, the lifestyle is extremely stressful.
Okay, and that's a good segue to the next one. Bring her to the West or stay with her in the Philippines. What's your thoughts, mate?
This is a multifaceted question. So there's the regulations in the West, which are difficult, and then you got the cost of bringing her to the West, in both terms of money and in terms of just the stress. The stress level in the West is so much higher. The reason one of the reasons we're over here is the stress level is a lot lower. So there's no rush to take her to the West. A lot of the trolls, a lot of people say that if you bring her to the West, she's going to run off with a younger man. We've got an age gap of over 20 years. I'd have no fear of that in the case of my wife. But my wife is not a green card hunter, and she'll go to the West, back to America, if I want her to, and if we get the visa process through. But that's not part of our relationship. It wasn't a conditional thing in our relationship. She's more interested. She'd rather stay here in the province forever. So she was looking for a husband that would be protect and provide in the province.
With Rhea, she wants to come and work in Australia if that's what it's going to take to help her parents slowly retire from their farm. It won't take actually very much money for them to stop working on the farm.
Almost very little.
Yeah, because the average wage, let's say 500 pesos a day for a worker on a sugarcane or a rice field. And obviously all year round you don't need that. You don't need to be paying a whole bunch of workers 500 a day. It's just here and there when you're harvesting, when you're weeding, when you're planting. So it's probably only a couple thousand Australian or US per year that would actually help retire the parents from doing all that hard labor in the sun.
Yeah, for instance, my wife and I can live here easily very nicely on $450 a month.
Right.
And that's for the two of us. So imagine if you're retired, you don't have, and you're living deep in the province, you're not going to have even $450 a month. Probably going to be luxurious to them. And
that's actually a big one, because if you can go through all the trouble of building, and we'll talk about the trouble you can get when you're building here. In Australia too, sometimes you just get ripped in Australia when a builder doesn't do the right thing. But if you can go through the trouble of building here, and then you've got your house, You know, and then it's virtually there's no living expense except for your water, your electricity, and your mobile phone and your food. And all of those bills are so much cheaper than the West.
You can almost eliminate all of those. If you have a well or you have a spring up in the mountains, then there's no water bill. If you have a spring, you know, you don't have to worry about a pump.
How much do those blue drinking water refill stations charge when you... 20 pesos, is it?
I think here we're only paying 10.
10, right. So over here with drinking water, you have two options. You can buy it in the 6 litre or 10 litre jugs from like the supermarket for 70 pesos, 90 pesos. That's kind of like a distilled water. Or you can go to the refill stations and fill up. Are they 10 litre, those ones, or a bit bigger? 15
I have
litre,
no idea.
I think,
I know we buy a lot of water that way, but up in the mountain, they are drinking water that comes from a well up there. It's unfiltered well water.
Right.
And I drink that water up there as well, and it's not doing me any harm.
Right.
So if you've got the money to drill a well in the right place, or if you've got a spring that's good, you can drink the water. You don't have to buy water.
Right.
If you're living down in the barangay, you're probably gonna have to buy water.
Right.
So drinking water, that is, guys.
I drank the water from the farm once, and it tasted so different, man. It's from a spring.
Yeah.
And it tasted so soft. The texture
you
was...
can taste the minerals in there.
Yeah. But I did get a little bit of a sore belly half an hour later, which will lead us to talking about the food as well, and the sickness you get eating the food here. What's your experience?
I was pretty good with the food, but the problem is I picked up a bacteria, and I think it was waterborne. I think it's because the
But you're not sure.
The geckos I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was contamination from the geckos.
Right.
And so the geckos, we've got the big bucket of water, and I was using that water to brush my teeth.
Right.
And the geckos are crawling up the water, up the ceiling, and messing in the water.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's what made me sick both times.
Right.
So she'd get mad at me for using that water, to brush my teeth, and and it seemed to coincide with that.
Right.
And I thought we were putting clean water in there, but the water was getting contaminated by the geckos after it was in there.
Yeah.
And I did get an antibiotic, azithromycin. I read some on the internet. I studied up on it, and it said that there was one dose of azithromycin might be the thing to cure that.
Right.
And it did. It worked both times. Right. Along with guava leaf. They gave me raw guava leaf, which was pretty extreme, but it made me feel better almost immediately. Right. So maybe the guava leaf more than even the azithromycin.
I have an issue with the food over here containing so much MSG. Uh-huh. And like in Australia, you could walk through a whole supermarket and look at the ingredients on everything, and there would be no MSG anywhere. It's pretty much been completely eliminated from our diet in Australia. My cousin, she gets really bad migraines from it. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes I was getting crook guts from it. What about you?
I have had the headache issue when I was younger, and I did attribute it to MSG, and pretty much just tried to stop eating that stuff. But since I come here, they do add some MSG to the food. Even the family adds some MSG to the food, but the amount that they add to the food is not that often, so I don't have that problem. I haven't been having the migraines from the MSG here. It's like when you eat it every day, then it becomes a problem for me. But not eating it every day, it's maybe once or twice a week, something they make, and it's one meal a day, maybe one meal twice a week. I'm okay. But if it's every day, then I'm gonna have a problem. Right. And the advantage I had is I spent a year up on the mountain eating the foods they eat on the mountain, so they didn't have access to a lot of MSG. They were pretty much making do with what they had, and when they came to town, they weren't buying MSG. So I was lucky in that way.
The problem I have is when you go to a restaurant or something, you can pretty much be guaranteed
it's going to be in there.
It's going to be in there, and also their number one seasoning that they just cover all seasoning for any meal is magic syrup.
Yep, exactly.
Which has MSG, and
right.
The magic syrup goes in almost everything. Yep. So when I started complaining enough to Raya and her family about magic syrup, and then they stopped using magic syrup, and I bought a bunch of spices from the pure gold, but they don't have very many spices compared to what you can buy in the West.
Yeah.
You know, we've got whole half an aisle of spices, whereas they just have a little section.
Yes.
So we actually had trouble buying spices to kind of replace the magic syrup, and the Raya and her family were finding the food there was no taste in it.
Yes. So they're going to buy from the Sari Sari store. They're not going to go. It's like right here. We go to the Sari Sari store. It's a 5-minute walk, and if you got to get on the bus and go to Klebo, if you don't have a vehicle, an hour and a half to get your spices. What are they going to do? They're going to go to the Sari Sari store every time. So that's part of the problem too. Is the Sari Sari stores are part of the problem because they're not stocking spices. They just got your magic syrup and those kinds of deals, and so that's why that's what they're eating. I think the Sari Saris are contributing to actually destroying people's health because people go there, they buy the soda, they buy the Red Horse, it's all right there, but you don't have a lot of the good stuff. Now out here, when we live up on the mountain in the parents' farm, we have all of that's at our fingertips. It's closer than the Sari Sari store. So it's going to depend on where you live. If you live right next to the Sari Sari store and you don't live on a farm, you're living in the barangay, you're going to eat very poorly. You're going to eat very unhealthy. But if you live up on the mountain, the Sari Sari store is further than the kamote leaf and all the things, the papaya and all the things they're cooking, the squash, all the things they're cooking up there on the mountain. They're getting. Then you're going to be in a lot better shape. It's just a matter of convenience.
I guess for me, the two things that Philippines people are sleeping on in regards to food health is the MSG and the high sugar diet.
High sugar, and they're drinking too much Red Horse too. Face it, I mean the guys are drinking way too much.
Are you talking about me too?
Yeah. They're drinking way too much Tanduay and Red Horse.
Tanduay is way too cheap.
It's way too cheap, and they're eating way too much rice. They have a saying that rice is life, but they don't. That comes from an era of starvation, probably during World War II, when literally rice was life. But now too much rice is also diabetes and death. So people need to understand and that's not well understood here, that rice, too high a carb diet will kill you just as quicker now than starvation.
It's bizarre here. Tanduay, you can get a small bottle of Tanduay dark for 75 pesos, right? And that'll get 2 or 3 blokes drunk. Right? Or for about 60 pesos, you get 500 ml bottle of Red Horse, which might get one bloke a bit tipsy. It's a very big disparagement there. In Australia, a bottle of liquor would be $50. It's so expensive. It's taxed so much. Cigarettes and liquor are taxed so much in Australia. You're basically losing all your profit from your pay. But a beer would be $4 or $5 for the same amount of liquor.
Yep. So this very much reminds me of the rural areas of the U.S. and Appalachia and whatnot, where people just drink way too much.
Right.
And years ago they had a movement for prohibition, all that. They tried to stop it. You really can't stop it. So there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah. Don't get into the Tanduay if you come over here, because it's too cheap. And if you start drinking the Tanduay every day, you're just going to turn into an alcoholic, and your liver will be gone in a few years. The beer is probably, I'm not saying drink beer either, but the Tanduay will really run you down.
If you're older and you're not in, you're like us, you're getting a little up there. Maybe when you get to 50 or so, maybe think about drinking maybe San Mig Light or something else, right? Because even the Red Horse is pretty. Even the Red Horse is pretty powerful, guys. I don't like to drink more than one of those, and I don't mean one a day. I mean one a week. Right. For me.
Right.
So. Where were we? We were at Brownouts. The Brownouts.
Yeah.
Now the Brownouts is kind of fun because it's you're talking off grid, and I love that topic. And it's also a major hassle. The power's going to brown out here. They're burning diesel oil. They have diesel generators. We have tremendous storms here. The infrastructure for the lines is not good at all, and so the power is blacking out here probably twice a week. And at all the wrong times. So for us, our water pump goes out. We don't have a water tower installed yet. So you lose water, you lose your fans. We don't have air conditioning, but the loss of the water pressure and the fans is very much noted. We have a backup system for the Wi-Fi, just a battery. We have Starlink, so we have Wi-Fi and signal. But it's a major nuisance losing the water. So that's why you see a lot of the houses here have water tanks. Number one, if they're on rural water, if the water's piped in, it often only runs a few hours a day. Number two, it's for pressure when the power goes out, so they can turn their spigot out, open, and have water. So what do you got to say? How do you deal with the brownouts?
Yeah, we've had a lot recently over there on Negros Island, and it's been a bit of a pain in the ass being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I actually like it because it forces me not to use my phone or my devices, and unplugs me from the matrix for 12 hours, so to speak, and my kids too.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Because these days, if everyone's got a mobile phone, you're basically spending all that time.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at your phone, you're basically plugged into the matrix. So, I like it that it disconnects us, but it is a pain in the ass when you've got a job that relies on the internet, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of digital nomads these
You wouldn't
days.
want to be a day trader living in the province and having brownouts all the time, especially if you've opened some big positions and stuff, you know.
You best have your Starlink Mini in your backpack if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to deal with it by installing solar. Eventually, we're going to go full solar. Everything's going to be solar, so we're not going to deal with the brownouts. And but a generator, 30,000 pesos will get you a generator that will get you through a brownout. And when the power browns out here, the gas stations have gasoline, so if you've got a generator, you're good to go.
Oh, and just to finish that one off, how much would your electricity bill be?
Our last electricity bill was 5,000 pesos, and we don't even have air conditioning yet. So,
right.
The problem is we don't have a dirty kitchen in yet. As soon as we're going to get that dirty kitchen, we're going to get the cement poured, a pad back there, and we're going to. Right now we use gas, so that's not on the electric bill, but we do heat the water. Those electric kettles burn a lot of power.
Right.
And we have a freezer and we have a refrigerator. So probably heating the water is a large part of that.
Right.
And if we can get the water tower high enough, we can eliminate the water pump because we're using a water pump to hop the pressure up.
Right.
A tank and a pump. So if we just put that tank up high enough, we can eliminate the pump. But it's got to be really high up, which might be worth doing because it'll eliminate the electric cost for the pump.
And Raya's family electricity bill, before I arrived with the kids, was $700 a month. And it went to $900 a month, I guess, with our extra laptops and phones.
Yes.
And this is a household with no fridge, no aircon, no freezer. So that's how cheap it can be. Obviously, we're going to get a fridge soon, but Raya's family has never ever had a fridge, and so they're not like trying to grab a fridge straight away. And if I was to buy them a fridge tomorrow, I guarantee you it would be very rarely plugged in because they don't want to run the electricity bill up. And then because they won't be able to afford the extra electricity, and then they won't want to ask me to cover the extra
so
electricity.
this is an interesting question that I want to flesh out more. Is like, what's the cheapest way to do refrigeration in the province? So would it be better maybe to buy a mini chest freezer and get yourself an ice box, a styrofoam box, a cooler, and then just throw the ice in there for your refrigerator?
Maybe, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, because the chest freezer is more efficient because the chest type keeps the cold in when you open it.
Right.
And then you just go in to make it nice and throw the ice in the cooler. That's what I'm thinking. Because but if you get the split units like we have, it's going to cost a lot of money. Because every time you open it, all the cold air spills out, and I just think it'd be a much better deal to use a chest type freezer. And make ice, put the ice in the ice box. If you're way out deep in the mountains, or if you're very low budget, that might be the way to go, guys.
That's what we do when we need some refrigeration. We go to the Sari store, we buy ice, you get two tubes of ice for 5 pesos, and you might get 4 of them for 10. And then you go back home and you put them in your esky or your cooler, and then you have your meat or whatever in there with them, and they'll keep it cool for around 12-14 hours. So maybe in the morning you might buy a couple, in the night you might buy a couple. If there's stuff that you need to keep refrigerated for a few days, that's kind of how we work around it. And I don't mind it because it feels like camping for me. It's kind of like, wow, it's a step back, and I'm sure there's a lot of blokes, especially if you're a retiree, just going, no way, I'm not dealing with that. But it's not going to be forever, and that's what Raya's family is used to. So just so you know, some province families may never have had a fridge before.
Yeah, so if you're on a budget out here, that matters. If you're not on a budget, I mean, if you've got good, deep pockets, you're already retired on Social Security and you're in good health, you can live out in those mountains and have all the modern conveniences. You can have all that brought up there, and it's not even that expensive. But if you're coming out here on a budget, and the money is important, there are ways to get by and still live well. But it's, you wouldn't want to do it though if you're older and you've got the money. You don't have to do that at all. Mm-hmm. This is not. They say it's a third world country, but it's really not. If you can get all the conveniences of home here with a little extra cash. Mm-hmm. Your electric bill is going to be comparable to the West, though. If you're gonna do central air, and you're gonna have the freezer and the refrigerator and all the appliances, the electric stove, you're gonna pay just as much or more for your electric bill here. Mm. But the only way you're gonna conserve here is to conserve. Mm. So, which is very doable. Mm. So we're talking about now transportation. I noticed you've bought, and I like your choice. Had I to do it over again, I would have probably bought one of those Toyota Tamaroa when I got here. Because I look under the hood in your Toyota, and that thing is eminently maintainable. So easy to maintain. Everything is you can unbolt it and bolt it in. You can reach the oil filters right there. You don't even have to crawl under it. The starter, the water pump, the carburetor, it's all right there. It's so easy to fix. So as long as Toyota's got parts, or there's aftermarket parts, and these are 60 to 100,000 peso for these used Tamaroa, and you keep it going indefinitely. Whereas Tamaroa, the paint's a little faded, and it don't look like much because of the paint, but the metal work is all still good. There's very little corrosion on this thing.
Yeah, and I'm happy with it because living in the province, you're going to get dents, scratches, you're going to get kids crawling all over your car when you're not there. You're going to get dogs peeing on every wheel, walking around peeing twice on every wheel. It's there's a lot of things you can't control when you're not looking at your car, and people don't respect your car here the way that they would in the West. For example, if I came out and I saw someone's kid climbing on my car, denting the bonnet and stuff, in Australia, that's cause for a big argument with the parents, but you literally you can't do anything
that's
about that.
That's going to happen here, and if you think you're going to come here and you're going to try to stop them, you're going to create a lot of hard feelings, and you're going to end up getting sent home. So what Roy is saying is exactly right. Unless you've got very deep pockets, and I've heard that insurance on a new pickup here is like $800, 40,000 pesos or so.
Per year?
Per year, And you're going to be making a claim all the time. I don't know what the deductible is, but it's just not worth it. Not to us. There are some guys that got the cash, and God bless you, then do it, man. But if that's your thing. But for Roy and me, we're better off to invest in business. Invest in the future rather than spending it on a vehicle. That your vehicle it gets the job done. It gets the job done, and as long as you don't go off the mountain or have a bad collision, that sucker will just keep going for a long time. So, and the motorcycles, if you are young and you are experienced in motorcycles, you're just coming here to take it easy, you don't need to buy a truck or a car. If you don't have, Roy's got 2 kids, so he can't throw them all on the back of a motorcycle and go like the natives here do. But for me, being just me and myself and my wife, the motorcycle is a great way to get around the province. I would recommend. You don't even have to buy a new one, guys. The folks here know how to fix a motorbike. And
I guess the two biggest drawbacks for the bike would be carrying capacity. And fuel range, right?
Yes.
I was surprised that your XRM had such a small fuel tank.
It's got a very small fuel tank, but there's other bikes you can buy, like a TMX or a Baracco that have a large fuel tank. That's just our bike.
Is that fuel tank upgradable to a larger one?
I doubt it, because of the way it sits under the seat. I highly doubt it.
Because I remember you were telling me Jason Potter found a expansion kit to 180, and when I was driving last night, I was thinking, if you got that expanded to 180cc, it'd run out of fuel even faster.
What you do is you just carry an extra bottle of gas under the seat. It's not hard to do. That's what I would do. But the gas station, there are many gas stations here
Right.
As long as you're going in the daytime. Last night we came home in the dark, so the stations were almost all closed. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So, but the motorcycle works out good for us. But see, we can use the Jeepney. When we go to Kalibo, we can put our stuff, whatever we buy, on top of the Jeepney.
Right.
And then we can beat them home easily because they got to make all those stops.
Right.
And then we just meet them here at the highway and just throw all our stuff off. And
Wow.
go. They'll even leave it at the gym if we ask them to, or at the other building there. The neighbors are okay with us doing that. We just tell the driver, just leave it there. It's very cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe like $1. They bring it all here and unload all of our equipment or whatever we buy.
Right.
So you can get by pretty easily without a car or a truck if you don't have the budget for it.
Right.
But it doesn't take that much budget. You showed me that. You showed me the way.
Yeah.
So 60 to 100,000 peso, and you're gonna have to do some maintenance and whatnot. But it's a good deal. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is the house construction and the package deal. We are resuming. We were on the house construction topic when we got interrupted. So there's a thing with the package deals here, guys. A lot of people will recommend you get they call it the Pacquiao here in our province, and they'll recommend you when you build, you get a package deal. And we've seen with some other YouTube channels like Old Dog, they get scammed. And for us, the package deal, we decided to part it out as we go. We might end up paying a little more. If the package deal goes as advertised, you'll save money on the package deal. But the problem is the package deal doesn't always go as advertised. If you've got somebody with a good reputation, they've delivered for other people, you've got honest testimonials from people that can show you that the builder built them a house, you're probably good to go. But out here where we're at, there's no builder offering to build us a house for a reasonable price. And they did bring up the package deal, but we decided to part our place out. We paid as we went. And so I'm just interested, Roy, you were telling me about this. This is very common where people lose money on the package deal because they make the package deal. They pay the money, and the builder gets halfway done, 3/4 done, and just stops. And then they're gone. They ghost you, or they want more money.
Yeah, they could stop, and sometimes it could be a genuine reason, like the price of materials have gone up, we're going to have to charge you more. Like that does happen in Australia towards the end of a build, but sometimes they might just be trying to see, all right, if we don't try to get the most out of these foreigners that we can get, then we're silly for not trying. And if we're not happy with what they're paying, then we'll just walk away as well. And you'll never know really what's going on with the builders, and any excuse that you do get, it will be, oh sorry, this came up, that came up, blah blah blah. But you may never know the full story why they didn't come back.
I think I can easily see the contractor overpromising his workers, and they get halfway done. He's out of money now, and since he can't make payroll, they weren't in for the package deal thing, and he just can't get his guys to show up.
In our province, there's two ways that they build the small province houses. You either pay them day labour, 500 a day.
That's the way to go. That's what we
per
did.
worker. Or you pay them a percentage of the materials. So you order the materials, which might cost 200,000, and then on top of that, they charge you, maybe 70,000 for their labour to work with those materials. And then once they've finished all those materials, then whenever you need to buy more materials, they take a 30 or 40% cut on top of that.
The bottom line is, you or your advocate needs to be on site every day, and he has to have eyes on the project. So if you've got an in-law, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law are involved in the project, and they can hold your contractor's feet to the fire, you'll probably be okay. But if you think you're just going to make this deal and leave, you're going to have a problem, more than likely.
And also, the workers will work better and faster if you're feeding them.
Yes.
Every day, if you're cooking them like a smoko in a lunchtime, they will work better and longer and faster. And if there's a few red horse at the end of the week or at the end of the day, so that's just another thing to consider.
It definitely goes a lot.
It is
easier.
another expense.
It goes a lot easier. You do those little things, you keep the morale up, and they'll work harder for you, work quicker. The other topic I want to get into is living with the in-laws. So what's it like living with your in-laws?
For me, it's not a problem at all because they never really ask anything from me. They never really have a problem with anything I do.
Yeah.
They're always supportive about trying to make me as comfortable as possible. For example, the first few months I was here, if I would start to show a bit of sweat on my shirt, Mum or Papa would go and get a towel and just go right up underneath my shirt and start toweling my chest or my back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? And they're like, oh no, he's sweating, you know. And I think it's they don't want, okay, there's a foreigner here, he's sweating. They don't, if other people see that I'm sweating, it looks like they're not taking care of me or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of, they go above and beyond looking after me and making me comfortable. But at the same time, sometimes I wish I would be included more in the daily chores or running the household, because as a foreigner here, if you're not building a house or got projects going, there's not a lot to do except sit on your devices. You know, like you're Filipino, they actually don't even want you to go to town by yourself without them or anything. They're worried about you getting hurt or scammed. So yeah, you're kind of getting babysat a lot here, which is very different to the West, where you're a man's man. You go wherever you want all the time. You're alone. You don't care.
Yeah, here you're part of an extended family, and they look out for one another. It's a different system, but what you just outlined is very similar to my experience up on the mountain here. You're on a different island, Negros Occidental, and you just pretty much very, very closely parallel my experience of the last year. They worry about me if I go out by myself. They worry about me if I'm sweating. They worry about me if I'm sick, if my stomach is upset, if I don't eat dinner. If they give me a mountain of rice and I don't eat it, they think I'm dying. I mean, I've been through all those scenarios. And very much they want me to have a positive opinion of the Philippines, and they want me to have a positive opinion of the family, and they want me to survive. They're very much worried when I get sick that something's going to happen to me. It's really, really crazy how much they're worried about me, way more than I worry about myself. The cost of living. Okay, we touched on that earlier. So the cost of living, power, water, and internet, and your phone, your access. For us, it totals about, if we're not doing a construction project and not doing farming, it totals about $450 US. So somewhere around there, give or take 100, depending on what's going on. So what would you say your level of comfort is? For me, I'm going to say it's around 500 to 600, because that gives us a little bit to travel, a little bit to go to the beach, and to eat out just a little every month. So what is your level for you and Ray and the kids? What is your comfort level for the four of you?
Okay, I might speak in pesos for this because
because you're Australian.
Aussie dollars weaker than the US. So here's a basic rundown of a daily grocery expense, right? You might pay, and this is to feed 7 or 8 people. You might pay 300 pesos for a decent sized chicken. You might pay 200 pesos for some fish or some cuts of pork. So about 500 pesos a day for meat to feed, a whole family, and that will take care of a lunch and a dinner kind of thing, and maybe even leftovers for breakfast. You might spend 100 to 200 pesos on fruit and vegetables, and you don't need a supermarket run every day. That's just maybe every 3 or 4 days. You might spend 2,000 pesos as well. So every day is maybe you can expect, just if you're helping the family as well. It's hard, because if you don't kind of contribute, then they're going to go without the meat and everything, and they're going to make sure you're well fed, and then you're sitting around going, oh my gosh, there's no food left for everyone. So
you're the only one eating meat.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah. So $30 Australian per day can feed yourself and everyone. That's if you're living with your in-laws and the brothers and the sisters. But $30 Australian in one day is basically one meal for myself, or maybe 1.5 meals for myself.
Yeah.
So the money does go a long way, and it's not going to go forever with me spending all that. Sometimes the other boys that have married into the family send money, But, we're going to be making money from baboys, sugarcane, and YouTube as well, which will go into feeding the family. So I'm subsidizing a little bit now because they're coming out of a really rough patch. They had some drought, they had the typhoon, they've lost their house, they lost crops. But this year, Papa's sugarcane is about 12 foot tall.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to get back on track this year. And they just did their rice harvest. So I kind of helped them through that rough patch a little bit, and I think now they're coming out the other end of it. But, $30 Australian a day goes a long way if you're in the province here.
Yeah, $30 is a lot. So you can do a lot with $30, even $30 Australian here. But you brought up listening to you talk just made me think of 10 more questions. So, topics. So, Karen's family, being that they're up there on the mountain, and they haven't had any real disaster in a long time as far as the typhoons and whatnot, but they have had the drought. But one thing about their farming style up there, they're very diversified. So if they could have a couple crop failures, and they're still going to have a lot of excess food.
Right.
Because they've got guinea fowl, they've got chickens, they've got babui, they've got cassava, they've got just a huge basket of foods, and if one crop fails, they got all the others to fall back on.
Right.
So that works in my favor because it really reduces the food budget. So like you're saying about the only thing I ever contribute is a little bit extra meat. The rest is because I don't feel like I'm really contributing that much because I'm getting all those vegetables and fruits back.
Right.
For me, it's been a lot cheaper.
Right.
Because they're doing really good right now. And so if you come here and you marry into a farm family out in the province, maybe you want to help them farm because that's going to reduce your cost of living and stay diversified and make sure they're growing things you can eat also, not just the sugar cane.
In general, if you're marrying into a Philippines family, it doesn't matter if it's a foreigner or a Filipino guy.
It's going to be the same.
You're expected to contribute.
Yes.
You can't just grab a girl, take them away, and there be no monetary subsidies, so to speak, coming back to the family because there's no retirement funds, there's no the pension is like a few thousand pesos every 6 months.
It ain't nothing. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're a foreigner or if you're a Filipino, you're expected to contribute towards the mama and the papa and everyone eating well.
So would you say for guys in our class about our age, our health level, probably somewhere between 40,000 pesos and 50,000 pesos is probably living good enough.
A month?
Yeah.
If you
got 2 kids added onto that.
If you got your own house, you're living like a king.
Yeah, you're living like a king on that. Less than $1,000.
If you're paying rent in a condo, that's almost all of the rent.
Yep. So you're way better off to go into the mountains, and if you're a farmer, if you like that lifestyle.
Not a lot of Western blokes can do it though, especially if they're just city boys, and they really need their modern amenities.
Yes, they do. They don't know what they don't know, and that, for you and I, that's a great thing.
You don't know until you try either. Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to get into with you was when we got married. We tried to get married in 2023. There was some family drama that we didn't manage to pull it off because somebody else had a wedding, but last year. We went through just months of paperwork. You're supposed to be able to do it by the statute. You're supposed to be able to get it done in about 30 days if you follow all the rules. For us, it took a lot longer. We had to get a stack of signatures. You got to get the parents. Even if your wife is under 25, you got to have both parents sign that they counseled their daughter. If she's under 21, you got to get actual permission. That was the easy part. We just had to track down all these signatures, and we had to get the signature from the chief veterinarian of the town, the town veterinarian or something, the agriculture department, all these different departments. And by the time you got done, it was just a huge stack of forms, and it probably took 2 or 3 months for us to get all those papers, So when you come here to get married, guys, a lot of guys think like I did that you can do that in a month. You can do, maybe some guys might think you can do it in a couple of weeks, or that's like Las Vegas, you can do the drive-up marriage. Here, if you're planning on getting married, it's going to take a long time. Be prepared for it to drag out. You better have more than a month. If you're going to do this on PTO, you even have to have more than a month of PTO, guys. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. Then let's get to the next thing, security. How do you feel? Do you feel safe out there?
Yeah, I feel safe enough. I've seen one fist fight just like at the end of a party when there was a bit too much drunk. But apart from that, there's never been anything towards me. And also, there's been times where I've accidentally left my car unlocked and there's people everywhere and I'm nowhere near it and there's never been anything pinched. So yeah, I'm sure that happens in Manila a lot with the scooters and stuff, pinching phones as they drive by apparently. But in the province, I haven't seen anything with my own eyes or experienced anything yet.
I never felt threatened. The only incident that really I got, it kind of annoys me, is my shovel disappeared.
Right.
I don't know, that could be a long-term borrowing thing. Somebody just forgot to mention they borrowed it, but that's it, guys. So I'm not going to cry over the shovel. It was outside the house, and maybe they just borrowed it and forgot to return it. But like you say, we've left expensive electronics and things just laying around everywhere. I've left my bag in the McDonald's and several other places with money in it, a lot of money. And I've had people run me down, to get it back to me, in a panic, trying to make sure they returned my bag, which was amazing. That happened in Kalibo and a few other places.
Right.
Karen forgot something, I forgot something. The people made sure they returned it. It was amazing. So, yeah, I feel completely safe up on the mountain. The locals have had a few squabbles. Before I got there, I've heard the stories, and it didn't involve any bystanders. When they got a beef with each other, they don't go around like in the West. And if you're a bystander, you're probably going to be okay here.
Yeah.
As long as you don't make it personal, in other words, you're probably not going to have a problem with anybody. Banking, bringing cash. I want to make sure everybody knows. The Philippines has a restriction on bringing more than $1,000 amount of cash in. So you can bring it in, but you have to declare it at customs. So the U.S., I believe, the limit's 10,000. So you can take 10,000 out, but when you get here, you got to declare it at the customs here. So, and as long as you declare it, it's okay. But if you don't, you run the risk of them confiscating it with no recourse to get it back, basically. So make sure that you don't forget about that, guys, because that could be a real joker.
I've never been checked for cash, how much I'm bringing in.
A few guys have had that happen, and I just want to make sure people know that. Because like you, a lot of people don't get checked. And
I guess they can see it. I guess they can see it, and you carry on when they're scanning.
They can see it. If the stack is really huge, they might think something's going on, and they pull you. Right. But if it's hard. It's going to be hard to tell 1,000 from, from 2,000 or 3,000. But if you got the full 10,000 in there, I think you might attract attention.
Right.
It's possible, guys. So it's better just to declare it. Number 12 is long-term work, business, and more kids. So I'll start with the kids thing. Karen and I want a lot of kids, okay? And I'll start with the long-term work thing. We want to grow our own foods, because we were talking about earlier the cost of living and the food and buying meat. So we want to become self-sustaining the way that the in-laws are up on the mountain, with fruits and vegetables, and with eggs and with meat. So that's what we're working towards, and then we're working towards, when we get to that level of self-sustaining foods, we want to work into making it profitable, making it an actual business. And I can see a business model with corn, with field corn and babui, where we could pay for our upkeep. So that's where we're going, because that's the easiest thing. It's backbreaking work to grow a couple hectares of corn, but off a couple hectares of corn, you can potentially finish, like 16 babui to full size, and so figure a hectare per sow, and you figure you'll grow 60 to 75% of that sow's food to raise and her litter to raise it to finished weight, and you can easily sustain yourself here by raising corn and babui, as long as the ASF doesn't wipe them all out.
Right.
So, and so if you're down with that, you're down with working in the mountains, tending the corn, planting it, spraying it, cultivating it, all that stuff, and you like raising livestock, you could easily just come here and settle in the mountains and live off babui. So what's your plan? Long-term work, business, more kids, YouTube.
Yeah.
Some YouTube.
Yeah. Sugarcane, Negros Occidental, sugarcane everywhere. 70 or 80% of the people are either owning and growing sugarcane or working on the sugarcane fields. So, there is a lot of land up for grabs over there, because this next generation of young people, a lot of them don't want to be farmers like their parents are.
Yep.
And so they're really working hard. It's amazing actually how the education system here is very strong actually. And the kids, they become quite smart. If they want to really try and get off the farm,
they can.
They will study hard, and they will hopefully be able to get to university. And that's the biggest problem for a province family. Let's say the son finishes the last year of high school, with high honours, but does the parents have the money to send them to university? So the whole family, all the brothers and sisters, might have to chip in for the next 4 years just to put one boy or one girl through university.
And that's been repeated here. I've seen it. And they do it. They get it done.
And a lot of them just miss out and end up having to work local jobs, and that's a real tipping point for a lot of Philippines people.
Everyone's doesn't have the temperament or the aptitude for higher education. So that's true as well, and that's part of the reason farmers get a bad rap here, is because a lot of them they say they're farmers, but they got rejected from the university or whatever, and that's basically all they're doing is some manual labor, but they don't have the drive. And the reason some of them failed is because they don't have the drive.
Right.
And since they just don't have it for anything. So when they're working on the side for the farmers or whatever, doing some field work, and it's like, farming doesn't pay good. It's the problem isn't that farming doesn't pay good. It's that certain individuals don't have the drive. If you have the drive, I shouldn't say it pays good, but you can live well farming up in the mountains. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I would like to open my own martial arts gym here one day. Obviously, I have to sort out the ins and outs of how to do it as a foreign skilled worker, I guess. I don't know.
Marriage. If you get married, the marriage visa will allow that.
Right.
Yeah. And then you got to go and all the tax issues and things like that you have to figure out. But once you're married, you can get the marriage visa.
That was my forte in Australia. I did that for 20 years. I only started working another job since I decided to come to the Philippines a year or two ago. So
I think you have a good prospect there. I think you'll get some business, because Filipinos love the martial arts, and they love boxing too.
Yeah.
Fitness, boxing, martial arts, it all pretty popular things here.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we've pretty much covered this. We can recap the whole thing here by going Filipino wife versus Western wife. And the reason that I went with Filipino wife is just basically just traditional life. Western people have kind of left that behind. You're not going to find many American girls that want to be farmers, that want to live out in way out in the country. They prefer the city. They prefer a different lifestyle. They prefer career. I think part of it might be our Hollywood, our television programming. It emphasizes, and our schools, they emphasize career over family. So most of your top tier ladies, they're pursuing their career, and they don't have a lot of time for us. So it made sense when you go on the dating app and you find a girl that you match up with over here that can chat, talk to you, and has the same goals and aspirations, and there's not a single one in the West. It's like, it's got to be a no-brainer. So how about you, Bray?
I completely agree with all of that, and then the one word that comes to my mind is agreeable and friendly as well. Your life partner, you want them to be friendly, but also supportive. And that's a problem in the West, where the women have their own opinions, and they have such strong opinions sometimes that everything's a problem. Like, they don't want to do things your way. Like, obviously there's negotiations, but sometimes it feels like you're just getting led around over there and dragged around. But over here you still have a decent traditional relationship, and Ray is nothing but supportive of me, of what our plans are moving forward.
she doesn't feel that she needs to be the boss in the relationship all the time.
No, but in her own way, she's the boss of the whole house, and
yes,
the
traditional
suitcases, the food, like they just take the lead on all of the things that they know that they have the skills for, and and it just works really well that way.
All right, well, thank you, Roy, and look forward to visiting you out there, and maybe we'll do this interview again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, next week or the week after, come down to Negros, brother.
We're gonna do it, and I look forward to seeing your island and your place out there, and the volcano as well, guys. We're gonna explore the volcano, right?
Well, you can explore it with your drone. I'm not going anywhere near it.
We'll explore it. We'll explore it remotely. All right, thank you, Roy.
See you guys. Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.